Okay, we'll start with this from the ESPN News Desk. Marlen Esparza and Gabriela Fundora to fight for Flyweight title. You heard that right.
So soon after young Gabriela's big win over then-champion Arely Musinho of Mexico, she's getting thrown back into the fire, back into the lion's den with another formidable fighter, another champion, in Marlen Esparza.
They will meet for what's being billed as the undisputed Flyweight Championship on January 6th in Las Vegas, a source told Michael Rothstein on Friday. For the undercard of Virgil Ortiz's 154-pound debut against Frederick Lawson, a show promoted by Golden Boy, Esparza, a Houston bronze medalist for the United States at the 2012 Olympic Games and ESPN's #1 ranked flyweight, won the WBC belt with a victory over Anabel Ortiz in December of 2021. Esparza knocked down Ortiz twice en route to a UD win. She added the WBA title 4 months later with a one-sided decision victory over Naoko Fujioka. And while that's how the judges might have scored the fight, the people in attendance and the people at home, they saw it a bit differently. They saw it as a closer fight. Close enough that you could have given it to Naoko.
And they said the exact same thing about Marlen Esparza's last fight with Argentina's Gabriela Alanis, then unbeaten WBO champion. If my memory serves me, the fight was close enough that the WBO actually ordered a rematch before this news broke.
Which has sparked my curiosity. Is the WBO's order for a second fight for a rematch between Esparza and Alanis, is that order now rescinded as a result of this fight, this unification match that, at least according to this article, this intel, is an undisputed title fight? For it to be undisputed, obviously Marlen's titles have to be on the line and Gabriela Fundora's. But what about Gabriela Alanis? Where does that leave her? It's possible, though not yet confirmed, that maybe Gabriela Alanis will get the winner of the fight.
The WBO's order for a rematch between Marlen and Gabriela Alanis, that order came down this past September, circa August, late August, early September, around there.
And because that order already came down 2 months ago, 2 months before they decided to make this fight between Marlen Esparza and Gabriela Fundora, you have to wonder, did they pay Gabriela to step aside, or did they come to some kind of an agreement where she fights the winner? I'm really not sure. We don't have all those details, but Gabriela Fundora versus Marlen Esparza, it is a good fight, an exciting fight, and a difficult fight to edge. Difficult because Gabriela's got a lot of size on Marlen Esparza, and she is a significantly bigger puncher as well. She's a very strong puncher, a southpaw, whereas Marlen, she's more finesse than ferocity.
She doesn't have size like Gabriela, height and length. She doesn't have firepower like Gabriela. What she does have is that Olympic amateur pedigree.
Lots of pro experience. She has, comparatively, the deeper resume compared to Gabriela Fundora, having fought better fighters than Gabriela Fundora has fought so far. She's been in there with Senicia Estrada, Anabel Ortiz, Gabriela Alanis,
and Naoko Fujioka.
I want to say that Marlen Esparza is a more cerebral fighter than Gabriela Fundora. With a fighter like Marlen, it's the subtleties, it's the little things, the movement, the shot selection, the accuracy. Though she is fighting a tall drink of water, a tall drink of boxing, Gabriela Fundora, like her brother, Sebastian Fundora, she towers over everyone, literally everyone in the division. But unlike her brother, she's got a very good jab.
Much better range control than Sebastian. Sebastian really is a mid-range to inside fighter. Despite his height and his length, he doesn't really use it. She does. She can box on the outside or bang on the inside. For me and my money, Gabriela exhibits better range control than her brother.
Shows a better jab and sets up her punches better. Marlen,
it's an uphill battle for Marlen.
So what Gabriela Fundora did to then IBF champion Arely Musinho, who was a lot more experienced than she was. She annihilated Arely Musinho. What are the odds that she can annihilate Marlen Esparza? Marlen, fresher fighter than Arely at the time, doesn't have as many miles on the odometer.
Marlen, she hasn't lost a step. She's in her prime.
Though even with that, she doesn't have the firepower that Gabriela Fundora has. And if you are Gabriela Fundora and you're fighting Marlen Esparza, do realize she's the house fighter. She's gotten dubious decisions in the past. She may get another if you let this go to the cards. For Gabriela, she needs to take this out of the judge's hands. It's the surefire bet to unify this division. Other fighters and other champions have had close fights with Marlene before, and we see what happened to them.
She's got to knock her out.
It's a fascinating fight, and we'll talk more about it as the fight date approaches. In men's lightweight news, the continued fallout of Shakur Stevenson's performance in the fight where he effectively became a 3-division champion, Shakur said, wasn't 100% tonight, no excuses, but anybody with 2 eyes knows the real. But look, one day they're with you, the next day they hate you. I love it. 21-0, see y'all next time out. Oh yeah, if you don't want to watch, then don't fucking watch. Y'all can't break me, and a bad night don't make me. And while that might have rhymed, that serves as little consolation for the people who actually stayed up to see this fight, and the people that paid to be there, the people who pay their subscription fees to the ESPN platform. You can't tell them if you don't like it, don't watch it, when they've already paid to see it. You need to develop a relationship, a rapport with the boxing community at large, the paying public, the paying portion of it.
Y'all can't break me, and a bad night don't make me.
It's not my intention to pile on like so many of Shakur Stevenson's contemporaries are doing right now. I'm just highlighting that he can't have that attitude towards a lackluster showing. He can't have that attitude towards the paying public. If you want to make it to the big nights, the big fights, and the big money, you have to understand the relationship between the fighter and the customer and the consumer. As wishy-washy as they might be, you need them in your corner. You need them to be in your favor.
Boxing fans have always been overly critical assholes with knee-jerk reactions that love you one day and hate you the next.
That hasn't changed, but neither has the dichotomy between the consumer, the customer, and the fighter. Like it or not, Shakur needs them in his favor. Former unified lightweight champion George Kambosos took to his social media reacting to Shakur's performance, and, well, it speaks for itself, doesn't? The image featured here.
Even unbeaten up-and-comer Frank Martin took to social media to lambast Shakur Stevenson's performance in his own way, and
while Shakur Stevenson didn't impress anybody yesterday, neither did Frank Martin by walking away from this fight. You don't walk away from the fight, a 7-figure payday, and a shot at a world title, so you can turn around after the fact and start throwing kicks in. No, it's not how it works. You're still the guy that turned down a 7-figure opportunity when you don't make 7 figures a fight. You're still the guy that turned down a world title shot to do absolutely nothing the rest of the year except post pictures on your Instagram account. And George Kambosos, George is one to talk. Most people don't even feel he beat Maxie Hughes in his last fight.
Before you pile on due to Shakur Stevenson laying an egg in his last fight, you guys laid an egg in your own way.
Haney didn't hesitate to take to social media to make his feelings known. He stated, should have offered this bum 10%. I was being too generous. Stop that scared narrative. Nobody was ever scared of that bum. He wanted clout. That's all they use my name for. And Devin Haney is another one. Devin Haney, to me, from where I'm sitting, is in no position to talk because in spite of how Shakur looked yesterday, that still doesn't change my mind. I don't believe that Devin Haney's offer was even a real offer.
Shakur Stevenson stinking out the joint yesterday has nothing to do with Devin Haney fabricating offers that Bob Arum said aren't real. If the money wasn't Bob's money to finance a fight between you and Shakur, whose money was it?
If Shakur Stevenson is the one who walked away, as Devin Haney claims, then why was Devin Haney's title on the line yesterday? Why was it vacant? If Shakur's the one that walked away, the title and the title shot, it would have went to somebody else, but he still had it because he's not the one that walked away. Devin's the one that walked away. That's why the title was vacant, and that's why he's at 140 now. My feelings on those aforementioned subjects haven't changed based on Shakur Stevenson.
It's not complicated. People are either playing stupid or they are stupid. Devin was ordered to fight Shakur. The fight didn't happen, then Devin's title goes vacant. Why is that?
If what you're telling me is that he walked away from you, then why does he still have a title shot, and why is your title now vacant? How did he get it without you? And we all know how, and we all know why. So Shakur Stevenson put on a boring, very boring performance yesterday. Devin Haney's done that a number of times. He's one to talk.
Oh yeah, his last fight was exciting, but it's because Vasyl Lomachenko made it exciting. Moreover, I don't even think Devin Haney won his last fight. and a lot of other people don't either.
You say that there's a little bit too much hype surrounding Shakur Stevenson. And no, he's not perfect, but neither is Devin Haney, neither is George Kambosos, and neither is Frank Martin. They can all be picked apart in their own way.
I still have Shakur Stevenson beating all of these guys. As boring as yesterday's fight was, well, he's not the only fighter that put on a boring performance.
A lackluster performance. You could say the same thing about some of Devin Haney's fights. Teofimo Lopez en route to the Josh Taylor fight where he looked great. He looked less than spectacular with Sandor Martin.
How soon they forget. And Frank Martin, in his last fight with Haratunian, he didn't look great in that fight. A lot of people thought he lost that fight.
Need I remind you that none of these guys, none of these young guys are perfect. I would still pick Shakur Stevenson to beat most, if not all of them, including Gervonta Davis, who's the knockout merchant that perhaps Shakur S. Stevenson isn't.
He is also a shorter, stumpier fighter that doesn't throw that many punches and relies on counters to deliver those knockouts. Well, against a guy like Shakur Stevenson, you're going to have a hard time getting off those counters.
Styles still make fights. And Edwin De Los Santos actually throws more punches than Gervonta Davis, but you notice that he couldn't land very many, if any, of them. Gervonta, who throws even less punches, he's going to struggle to land. And he's a shorter, stumpier fighter than Shakur Stevenson, than Edwin De Los Santos. So my feelings on other subjects haven't changed based on yesterday's fight.
Shakur laid an egg, but I still think he beats most, if not all, of these guys.
And finally, Shakur Stevens' mentor, Terence Crawford, took to his social media, stated, "Everyone I know, y'all loving Boots right now, and that's good. I'm happy for the young guy. But chill on the I'm ducking him part. Boots had 2 opportunities to fight me, and he chose to go a different route. So chill. Let the kid make his mark in the sport." Without really taking shots at Jaron Ennis and just stating the facts as they are. When Jaron Ennis was ranked at number 2 and Virgil Ortiz was ranked at number 1, Virgil decided to go the WBA route, and that was an opportunity right then and there for Jaron Boots Ennis to push for a fight with Terence Crawford, and he didn't. He decided to stay on the IBF route.
That was late last year, and that was his first opportunity. His second opportunity was when Black Prime reached out to him to see about doing a fight between him and Terence Crawford.
He and his father were more focused on remaining loyal to the Showtime platform, which, according to his father, he wasn't even signed to, and the rest, as they say, is history. These are matters of fact that are confirmed by audio, video,
And people still think Crawford ducked this guy?
You don't have to tear one fighter down to try and bring the next one up. We the only sport that allows reporters to do shit like that. We put our lives on the line to entertain y'all. Y'all need to learn some respect and leave the bias shit at home just because you like a fighter. And it's not just the reporters, it's not even mainly the reporters doing this, it's the fight fans themselves. The fight fans that had held out hope that Errol Spence Jr. would get the job done with Terence, and when he didn't, they moved on to the next guy.
They've lost faith in Errol. They're tired of playing with him, and they want a shiny new toy. That shiny new toy is their new boy, Jaron Ennis.
It's the way it works. And before Terence Crawford even laid a glove on Errol Spence Jr., if you go back to the videos I did leading up to the fight, I told you this would happen. I told you that's what they were going to do. The ones that claim they're helping boxing be the main ones. How y'all pick sides when you're supposed to be neutral? This is what's wrong with the sport. There's nothing wrong with having your opinion, but when you start showing your dislike for fighters, that's not right. And Terence Crawford has been on the receiving end of these biases for years. In truth, it's not that they want the best to fight the best, or for Terence Crawford to prove that he's the best, because he's already done that. He's already undisputed champion at welterweight. Does that not make him the best in show? He beat the guy that you were backing to beat him, and instead of praising him for it, you just move on to the new guy.
You make excuses for the guy you were backing, the guy that came up short, while supporting the next flavor of the month.
Anything, everything. to get out of giving Terence Crawford his just due. Anything and everything to avoid giving him credit, because giving him credit involves admitting that you were wrong.
I don't want to do that.
Terence continued. They say they want to watch the best fight the best, like Errol isn't one of the best, now that he has one loss. LOL. Y'all kill me with that bullshit. In what other sport does a loss not make you one of the best in that sport? To which a content creator that goes by the name Showbiz the Adult replied, "Brother, not every fight deserves a rematch. You destroyed Spence. Well, who's next?" I think that's an appropriate response from fans. Love you, brother. And Showbiz the Adult follows the sport just as closely as I or you. And I'm pretty sure he's aware that this rematch, it's not at Terence Crawford's request. It's at Errol's, because Errol has a rematch clause. So what does Showbiz the Adult expect Terence Crawford to do in that situation? What do any of these guys expect Terence to do in that situation? If he doesn't give Errol the rematch, he gets sued. He'll be in breach of the contract, and he'll get sued.
Did people all of a sudden forget how rematch clauses work? I remember over 10 years ago when Hasim Rahman tried to skip out on Lennox Lewis when he had a rematch clause. Lennox took him to court that same year and beat him that same year.
Skip out on a rematch clause, you get taken to court, my friend. That's the way that works. Do I need to conduct a crash course on how rematch clauses work? Jaron Boots Ennis caught wind of Terence Crawford's comments, and he responded by saying, "Bud had opportunities to fight me, and still do, but you'd rather let them strip you and give me the title instead of me taking it from you, because you don't want to fight me that bad. The stunt you pulled is see-through, and what stunt is that?"
It's Errol who activated the rematch clause.
What I don't respect about Jaron Boots Ennis and his team is they know exactly what they're doing, and they know that Terence is not at legal liberty to fight anyone other than Errol Spence unless Spence drops this and walks away. But he hasn't. So what are they expecting Terence to do? This is all a ploy to turn the fans against Terence. That's what it is.
And Boots knows it. He knows they had chances to fight Terence Crawford, but they chose to go another route, and he knows that Terence can't fight him now.
So he pretends that he would like to fight him now, having walked away from him already. There's nothing to respect about a disingenuous move, a disingenuous ploy like that one.
Boxing fans, being as stupid and emotional and childish as they are, they go with it, even though it doesn't make sense.
Because you can't use logic on illogical people.